What's up, guys? Oh, fuck me. How's everyone? How's everyone doing? No, my fucking allergies are killing me this morning. Your energy last night was a vibe. It was like the old GME days. Yeah, I think it's because the antihistamines finally wore off, and I had like 30 minutes of mental clarity, which then immediately collapsed again. What are we not gonna have a 1% day on SPX today? Not gonna have a 1% day on SPX today. Well, that's not maybe true. Somebody might say something bad. I think Barron took profits. So Trump's like leaning back into attacking Iran again. I wish Japan would hurry up and squeeze the yen. Barron's the best insider trader of this generation. Did you see Basant got into a fistfight again? With who? Yeah, 7,000 is probably going to be upside resistance today. Here, I'll shrink myself back to a more normal size. Ooh, I could keep going. Anybody want Tiny Gurk? Hey there. We'll do that. What's up, man? Only if you increase the pitch of your voice. That's not easy to do. Kind of funny. I actually plan on hedging my SPY bear position with puts on oil. My wonderment when both the market and oil now goes up instead of inversing. Yeah. Well, I think the squeeze to the upside is over at this point, at least. So things can normalize a little bit. But it does look like we have enough supportive charm into the end of the week that we're unlikely to fall till next week, barring any like headline news that the negotiations that Iran has repeatedly said are bullshit are actually bullshit. How bad is oil backwardation right now? I'm not sure. Pretty bad. Looks like it's backwardated out to like the CLX contract. And futures aren't pricing in $60 a barrel again until 2031. I'm sorry, 2032. May of 2032. It doesn't look like they're coming down anytime soon, that's for sure. All bird stock surges 600% after they announced they are pivoting from shoes to AI, where they are clearly experts. Have you seen any unusual activity in SPY? Like today? I don't know. Have I? I haven't looked at SPY in like probably like 5 weeks. I don't see anything here that looks like wildly out of the ordinary. Looks like it's pinned. Yeah, no, it doesn't look weird. No, it's harder to push through because the high gamma has nothing. It's not working with anything. Remember, gamma's rate of change in delta. If there's no delta, there's even if gamma's high, there's not going to be a lot of change. Is that counterintuitive? It's counterintuitive if you never took calculus. That's mean. Good morning, Willie. He's a potato. Be nice. Good morning. What's up, Pilani? One more 7K rejection? Yeah, probably. Are we stuck under 7,000? Yeah. 7,000's pretty big resistance. Although, as we get closer to the end of the day, it's possible they could squeeze it out. Probably not anytime soon, though. Did we retest the all-time high, or are we still just short? 70201? What was the prior? 70228. I don't know. It looks like the high for the day is 70191. So we're like 30 cents off. Yeah, I know. SEC is changing PDT, which is exciting. Bringing back Franken spreads. I have 7014. I don't know what's wrong with you. Where did you get 7014 from? I was Jan 28th, 70228. Fucking missing something here? Yeah, that's right. None of the brokers are going to want to drag their feet. I would imagine many of them already have the systems ready to go and implement, like within the next few weeks. I mean, the rest of the market's up 11%. Why shouldn't Upstart be? I don't know. I haven't really been paying attention to it very much. Looks like it's squeezing off a little bit. There's big resistance at like 34. It's got room to run. We could take a look at it. Gamma Max 3055. Is that accurate though? Hmm. Yeah. Well, it looks like it already did push out to about 34, so it makes sense that it got rejected there. But a little short of that, 33.63. I'd watch and see if Gamma Max starts moving up. That might be interesting. Uh, it doesn't look like there's much above 35. I think if it gets above that, it just starts squeezing. People aren't really adding very many out of the money calls above the 35 level, though. That seems to be like it was at least yesterday's target. Nice move, though. Delta's starting to turn around. Might need some accumulation while things reposition. Ski's probably super blown out. 10-day is. 30-day options were relatively cheap this morning. Small normalize anyway. We have earnings coming up, right? I saw bull breaking out. Yeah. Left a little gap above us at 96. Not much support at 90 or 85 though. Gap filled. Mm, oh, that's a link? Okay. Oh, that's nice. Doing a little tiny head and shoulders here. Maybe. Hmm. Higher high. Not a great look. Buying's increasing slightly. Ooh, I know what I want to look at. Get this fixed yet? Just going to show that off today. Synthetic short at 7,000. It's like bot calls at 95 supporting us right now. Not much below that. The majority of sold puts down at 69.65. So there's not a whole lot of put selling going on here. Looks like some puts being bought down at 90.85. It's like bears might be loading up the downside. Definitely selling all the calls above 7,000. Upside resistance on ES is 70.46.50. Downside support is 70.16. Looks like the trend's starting to fail a little bit. Keep an eye on the like local trend from the 1256 low. As we get a little bit more profit taking, it might start to weaken. Some profit taking on the 90s. There's a VWAP test on ES down there. Except for my overheld calls. Does Tesla have much support at this range after today's move, or is it likely to pull back if SPX starts falling? I mean, it'll pull back if SPX starts falling. It's very heavily weighted. Hood, similar? I don't know about that. Is there a feature that shows bot calls puts versus sold calls puts? There's ways of ascertaining that, but nothing directly yet. Maybe in a month or so that shows bot calls, sold puts versus sold bot puts and calls versus sold puts and calls. You can determine if puts are being bought or sold with the PCR lines here on live data and the volatility surface. Smile gives you some indication of bot sold, and then you can look at the flows from PCR to make a determination about if the calls are being bought or sold, or the puts are being bought or sold that are coming in around spot. Wait, really? Sick. I mean, I don't know. I don't think bot sold makes a very big difference for trading. Fucking the edge is almost non-existent. But we do have the data. We just don't display it because they're always the only way to determine that without a 10-minute delay is a bespoke model, and so there's fallibility in those. They're hard to test. If you don't know exactly what they do, which no one will ever tell you, then it makes it hard to test trading strategies. But we are adding some bot sold information to the live charts, which I was going to show you guys today, but it doesn't appear that it's working in our production or like our development environment right now. So either they're working on it right now, or it's just not loading properly. VIX is still at fucking 18, which is wild. NQ's pushing up to test 26.2, which could be resistance. There's really no local resistance on ES. And then obviously 7,000 on SPX is of some importance. I would imagine that Gamma Max is pushed up through the intraday to somewhere around 7,000. It looks like where everyone's piled in. Yeah, I know oil's still at 91. Generally, like head and shoulders breaking up like that's usually good for a little bullish push. Maybe we try to tap the all-time high. Like a dollar off. There's a lot of bot calls coming in at 705. A lot of bot puts at 7,000. So slipping back under 7,000 here would probably be pretty bearish, but we might test like 702 or 703 before we get any kind of rejection. I feel like failing to hit the all-time high here wouldn't be super bullish either, given how many put buyers there are at spot. We left a downside gap back at 69.86. I thought there was one from earlier. Oh, there was one from yesterday at 69, like 69.48. Things are still skewed a little to towards the 7,000 strike. 69.95. Almost there. And a new intraday high, I think. Yeah. There it is. New all-time high. Well, for SPX, not ES, obviously. Looks like people are still piling into the 7,000 put. Downside sold put supports at 80 and 65. There's actually room out to like 10 or 15 here. But I think this is going to sell off a little on that test, especially if we slip 7,000. So all those puts are going to go in the money. There's a fairly large synthetic short there. All premiums are starting to fall off a little. We're getting sold calls to the upside of spot. How am I determining that, you might ask? Well, if you look at the 7,005, 7,010 IVs, they're falling. We see call premiums falling, but calls PCR is also falling. So calls are increasing, but premiums are falling. And IV at the strikes above spot is also falling on increased call volume, which tells you those calls are sold. Ooh, yeah. See how it all makes sense? I can't visually track rising or falling there with any surety. Just look for them to flatten out relative to the at the money strike. And that's because, you need a lot of movement to shift IV hard. I guess we could carry this shit out to like the fourth decimal place. We'd have to have more precision on the y-axis though to really see the moves, and then it could be like I think we tried that before, and it's kind of chaotic. Does the smile show put or call IV? It just shows the IV of the strike. It doesn't matter if it's put or call. You have parity. Woo. Yeah, I think if we slip like, well, like 98 here, this little support 97.66, probably open the move to fill the gap down by gamma max. It looks like where most of the sold put support is, and it's enough range for us to pick up a little bit of momentum too. We'll see put premiums rising here. This is because they're getting bought up. Next important level will be like 94.16, I think. 94.11. NQ slipped back under 26.2. Remember the numbers or comparing them? I mean, you could just see the skewness between the, not like the 90, like right here, you can see it between the 7,000 strike and the 95 strike. Like the 95 strike is higher. IV there is 14.2. IV at 7,000 is 13.7. Iran making threats about U.S. blockade. Basant speaking. Levitt speaking. Okay. Little volatility. Maybe we get a head and shoulders here. Retest 7,000 and then rejects for continuation. I don't like that call premiums aren't falling that much yet. Feel better if bears had more confidence selling the out of the money calls. But per premiums are still rising on the bounce, which is probably probably a good indication that this like little head and shoulders has a better chance of failing. Slightly better chance. Yeah, the differences are minute. I don't know. Maybe I've just been looking at it so long that I'm just like kind of trained to see what I'm looking for. I think maybe the problem you're having with it is a lot of the signals just indicate chop. Members of the Israeli cabinet oppose the ceasefire. Basant says tax season's gone smoothly. Trump's holding a roundtable in Las Vegas tomorrow. That doesn't seem like it matters. Ooh, call premiums are falling again. A little bit. Probably move down to the 5-minute here to look for reversal signals. Where's at 90? 90 and 80. Looks like they've been selling quite a lot more of the 80 put. There's some bot calls at 95 and 985 that are in the money. There seem to be the only in the money bot calls though. Everything else is mostly sold puts. Yeah. Not a lot of call buying today, which is different from the last few days. Very. Oh, I wanted to get back to that guy's question about put call parity. I just got shit I'm trying to manage here. When you're looking at like the smile, like you have like this equation. I think it's like, and basically this tells you that there is parity between puts and calls. Now, arbitrage does occur between those, but you're never going to capture it. Dealers will, but implied volatility is not a property of puts or calls. If that makes sense. So if you know, maybe a better way to describe that would be like the volatility smile is how the market prices a distribution of future outcomes, and that distribution's attached to the underlying. It's not separate to puts or calls. Parity, not a parrot or parody. What does call premium falling tell you? That calls are getting cheaper over the last 15 minutes. The increase in calls tells me that they're being sold because the PCR ratio is shifting towards there being more calls on the chain. So the incoming volume is largely calls, but calls are getting cheaper. That's an indication that calls are being sold. Although that just reversed a little on this last candle. We got an increase in puts. See, that I don't know if it tells us much. Because I guess we saw put premiums go up a little, but barely. Well, if someone's selling them, the dealer is long those calls. I don't think they're going to get blown the fuck out. Probably just push to a lower high here and then get more profit taking. People who didn't get out on the initial drop. Like NQ just eked its way back above 26.2. ES came up and tested 70.40 for a second and then sold off again. So probably just like some more netting around here. It'd be pretty hard to squeeze out the synthetic short at 7,000. It's quite large. It's by far the largest position on the chain, and it's like 8,000 contracts. There's going to be some, like, I mean, dispersion's going to keep grinding. Like, people are going to keep buying into equity vol, like longing equity vol and into tech earnings. So that's going to be, you know, a supportive flow into the earnings regardless. Yeah, I mean, most days rely on theta decay. Oh, neat. I'll check it out. What's up, Blue Pickle? Where does this short want us to close? I mean, south of 7K. The more under 7K, the more profitable it is. I mean, you can just like open. Yeah, actually, you could literally just open like option strat and build it. But as it picks up profitability, it also is going to pick up delta, right? Yeah. This is going to look weird because of the 0 day, but you get it. So I would say as we move into like 3 o'clock, it would very much like to be around like 69.87. Any idea when that position opened? It's been there all day, but it's been growing substantially over the last like hour, 2 hours. Now we're moving to the retest 95. 95 is somewhat supportive, obviously. There's sold puts at 90. We can see them down here. Sold puts at 80. But squeezing out the 90 sold puts would be quite bearish. There's also a gap down here at 86, which might be a target for bears. Careful though, if they close the synthetic short, it's gonna reverse any downside price action really, really sharply. We got a lower high, by the way, like I said. This is selling off with a little bit more momentum. Next confirm would be like 64, 69, 94, 11. Got put premiums pushing up a little bit over call premiums here. Ooh, news? Or just a big fat wick? Okay, well, if that ends up being a bull trap, that's going to be bad. Okay, not a bull trap. So news? Or maybe it's still a bull trap? What's going on here? Beige Bug came out? Was the Beige Bug bullish? We just generally continue to rise as this report was prepared. That Iran could consider. Oh, okay. Here we go. Iran could consider ships being able to sail through Oman's side of Strait of Hormuz without interference or attack as part of the deal with the U.S. Source close to Iran. Interesting. I wonder if that really affects any of the positioning here, though. Hmm. That gonna shake off any of the synthetic short? Or no? Well, it look like much is changing. We had some call buying to the upside there, but that was about it. 705, 710. So there's still some call buying, but also put buying at 705 and 69.95. Took off a few of the long puts, got stopped out on the gap up. Ooh, big call buying at 7,000, 69.95. Iran will maintain control over its waters in the Strait of Hormuz, and Oman will decide about its own side of the waterway. Source close to Iran. U.S. issues new Iran-related counterterrorism designations. Treasury sanctions several vessels under Iran designation. So not the beige book, but just another announcement about Iran. Doesn't look like oil's falling too much on the news, so probably not very important. A decent number of calls bought at 705, 70, 15, which are probably about the top of the range for today. Some calls bought to close at 70.25 on the move up. But premiums didn't shift that much. Well, if it's going to fail again, we're going to have to wait for it. BB says our forces continue to strike Hezbollah. We're about to overwhelm Bint Jabal. Instructed the Israeli Defense Force to continue reinforcing the security zone in southern Lebanon. Our American allies keep us constantly updated on the contacts with Iran. Our objectives are aligned. Uh, is there a poly market like bet that I can make that BB is gonna bomb a bunch of shit during the negotiations with Iran this weekend? Like while they're in the meeting. 95p are bleeding from that. I'm gonna give you a bit of advice, Thunder, if you want it. In environments like this where gamma's like total gex exposure is really, really high, don't buy out of the money puts. I know they're cheaper, but that's because they're worse. Has Iran agreed to the meeting this weekend? I'm not entirely sure, actually. Maybe they have. Looks like bulls are still kind of trying to pop this synthetic short. Which is somehow now even bigger. It's like 20. It's not evenly weighted, but it's like 26,000 contracts. Ugh. That's the top of the bot calls for now. Right here around 10. There's some profit taking. Fed's reviewing liquidity framework. Netanyahu said, in light of the possibility that the fighting may resume with Iran, we're prepared for any scenario. Oh, interesting. That's just the delta at 7,000. Okay. Well, bulls aren't going to want to lose 7,000 because that would not be good. Oh, interesting. More aggressive profit taking on the second high. And put interest picking up. YouTube. Ooh, NQ got a new high. Not a new overall high, but a new intraday high. Another round of profit taking. Another head and shoulders. I would say if this doesn't break down soon back below 7,000, we probably close somewhere between like 705 and 15. If we fall back under 7,000, things can get bearish again. I don't know if we will. Or, well, not bearish, but like we can close in the lower range, like 85 to 7,000. Israel's prime minister says it's too early to say how talks with Iran will end or even how they will progress. What's going on with oil? It's at $91 a barrel. boring. Calls are progressively getting more sold to the upside, so this trend probably fails. It's like ascending wedge a little bit. Boring. The delta falls off pretty sharply at 15. Implied move is like 13. Ooh. Close. That's what I'm gonna sell. We're pinned here right now. It looks like under 67.10, we can pull back to 7,000. Under 7,000, we can pull back to 69.80. Definitely a part of me that wants to buy the at the money put. It's cheap. Still think Gamma Max is probably around like just around 7,000 somewhere. Slip 10. Reported 7,080. Small bounce. Retesting the implied move here. Hmm. VIX under 18. Pin is weakening. Huh. I wonder if anyone's going to buy puts. Brent settled at 94.93 a barrel. Oh, Google ran. Alphabet poised for $100 billion windfall on SpaceX investment. Provided SpaceX is a $2 trillion company. Do I get to sell another one of these? Yes, testing its upside trend here. Long-term one. Hmm. Almost 3 o'clock. What do you think is going on with hymns today? I have no idea. Did we get news that the war is officially over? No. Are we ever going down? It's quite hard. Although there's still a big synthetic short at 7,000. So it's not as big as it was. Right now, bot calls all the way up to 15, kind of holding spot in place. But if we start putting those back out of the money again, they'll probably take profit. I don't think they're very profitable. Most of them were bought like at the money. Hmm. There's quite a lot of charm from the 7,000 strike. Although if it starts to capitulate, that'll go away. Yes, almost testing 770.60 here. It's like SPX got the 20 test. All premiums aren't coming down very quickly. And Q gets 26.3, yeah. Not a whole lot of reason to take profits. Mm, hmm. Big pile of puts bought down at 705. 700 of them. Taking on those out of the money 25 calls over there. Looks like we're getting some call selling above spot finally. Still don't see call premiums falling too much unless they slip further. But a lot of put buying right now on the rejection. $10 billion gamma fall off from 20 to 15. Another 4 from 15 to 10. It's trying to catch the knife again. The dip buying's kind of wild. I don't think we've had a greater than $5 pullback since earlier today. I assume that was bad news. Everything past 6,800 in the 1 hour looks like a squeeze. I mean, it is. It's wrapping up here. I mean, like, it's definitely slowing down a lot, but yeah, the carrier strike groups should arrive right around the end of the ceasefire. Yep, there's a lot of call buyers. $69.80 is pretty unlikely. Yeah, I don't think we see 69.80. You can see us pulling back to maybe 10 or something. Probably not a good sign that we got another new all-time high off of the sell-off.
Ow.
Hmm. Mm. Interesting. Yields up or up across the curve still. We had trader by day, doctor by night. Did Iran give up all their leverage? No, not at all. Some fucking minister said that, like some minister close to the matter said that they'd let Oman do what they want with their side of the strait. Possibly. U.S. hasn't officially asked Israel for a ceasefire in Lebanon. Not part of the peace talks with Iran. Trump would welcome an end to the fighting as part of an agreement between Israel and Lebanon. Senate votes 52 to 47 to block resolution that would have prevented further U.S. Iran strikes without congressional approval. How was that not bearish? Hmm. Ooh. A lot of fucking sold calls here. Someone's still selling calls back at 7,000, which is weird. Or, well, I guess just profit taking, but. Someone bought a bunch of 705 puts, 69.90 puts, buying puts at 20, a few. Some in the money puts at 40. Bear's just gonna get fucking squeezed again. We're squeezing. So, I mean, it's the new normal until we stop squeezing. Hmm. Quite a lot of put buying, 15, 10, 05. Call selling to the upside of spots continuing. Still some in the money call selling off too, so we got some profit taking and out of the money call selling as well. Like a little push. I don't know if it's enough to push down through support, but the next support to the downside under 15 is going to be 7,000. Ooh, someone just sold a lot more calls out of the money. 30 and 35s. More bot puts, 15, 10, and 05. What was the upside gamma on that? Was that like 20? So this isn't actually weighted like that. It's like it's like 1 to 3. Hmm. Interesting. Hmm. $67.10 puts are picking up quite a bit. Getting some capitulation on the 15 calls, 20 and 25. Sold puts still down at 7,000. Ball still climbing. Hmm. Ball up, spot up. You just slip 20 for gamma to fall off in any meaningful way, which we're not doing yet. Hmm. Hmm. I'm still buying up those 710 pits. 1,200 of them now. It's 20. Ending at 25. Mm. U.S. Iran talks likely to return to Palestine or Pakistan next week, citing 2 Pakistani officials. MS Now. Hmm. VIX back above 18. Still need to lose 20 for any gamma to fall off. Even though it's not a ton. Still a lot of bot puts at 10. Still in the money, profit taking on calls ongoing. Don't know how much that's shifting charm. Not a whole lot. But Delta falls off pretty quickly to the downside. I guess charm does too. Charm is quite quite bullish here. About 5.4 billion. Yes, still holding the trend from the bounce earlier. Vol keeps grinding up, which is weird. I'm not seeing any like calls being like bought to close, so I don't think it's because we're squeezing short calls at this point. Hmm. There's a test at 25. Sub 26 high. 58, 25. Oh, 62.25. Holy shit, is ES actually going to lose its uptrend? Maybe. Although there's another uptrend on like the 15-minute that's just slightly lower. The number of people willing to buy ES at 70, 60 is kind of wild. Hey, there we go. ES failed its trend for the first time, well, since it broke up at 102. $20.15 10 puts being bought. All calls to the upside sold, and the 15 call being sold. Ugh. Gamma actually starts to fall off a little bit under 20, more under 10. But this is a start. See if we punch through this support. If we do, that's probably good for momentum for the bears. Oh, yep. Put premiums are pricing up. Call premiums still not falling as quickly as I'd like to see. There's probably still like a decent amount of delta here. Squeezes more if we keep dropping though. Yes, slipped its 15-minute trend too. It's retesting it right now. So rejection here, we get more downside. VIX up. Any bad news? Looks like the retest is failing a bit. Huh. Trying to hold the 15 support. Hold the upside gap at 19. Right there. Hmm. Some out of the money call buying 30, 35. 20 calls being sold. 1510 put capitulation. Mm-hmm. Ten and 15 puts are pricing back up again. I think there's still quite a lot of draw from that synthetic short. ES failed the retest of the 15-minute trend. That confirms under 70, 54, 25. They're not letting this shit go. Market on close in 3 minutes. Retested 60 on ES. Or almost retested 60, I guess. MOC is in 2 minutes. Hmm. Oops. The upside implied move from last night was, or well, the combined one is 70, 70, 15. Another rejection back below trend on ES. Vol up. Ooh, reversal. Interesting. Volatile. There's MOC. $1.2 billion to buy. Did not get a new high on SPX there. Hmm. Yes, back to trend. Right? Yeah. And the trend failed again. 7 minutes left. I don't know if it's enough time for us to move down under the implied move, though. Maybe. I feel like closing at 15 or 10 would be more reasonable. It's like almost a head and shoulders, which would imply a move back to 709. Still confirms under 704 or 7054.25 on ES, which it's fucking choppy still. Lamb. Why the fuck are we getting pinned at 20? There's like nothing here. New high. Nice. Profit taking on the 25s. VIX back to 18. Big vol short there. Five minutes left. Very weird to get pinned to the positive gamma strike. Unless we're going to squeeze it and push for 30. Maybe? Two minutes left. Just shitload of bot calls at 25. last minute. Ding ding. Oh well. Boring. All right. Bum bum bum. All right, so we got pinned to the 25 strike at close. It sold off a little bit, caught at 20, which is where the majority of the out of the money positioning was earlier from the breakup. So bulls still winning out here. We're getting fairly close to Vega neutral on the monthly. And after tonight's update, we might actually be like neck and neck with it. I'm sure Gamma Max on the weekly moved up. It's probably somewhere around 7,000 or so. But it does look like there's quite a lot of sold calls building at 7,000. So at least Bear's betting pretty heavily that there's going to be a pullback from here. Maybe tomorrow or the next day. I think we get a little bump in like event vol tomorrow, but I'll go over the rest later tonight on the next episode of Market on Close. We'll cover all of that. So thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I will see you tomorrow.